Welcome back. So, you're prepping for that accounts payable interview at a top-tier firm like Accenture, right? Well, you're in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to take all those dense AP concepts and transform them into a really dynamic roadmap for you. We'll break down the technical know-how, the systems expertise, and that strategic mindset those interviewers are desperately looking for.
At its core, AP is so much more than just back office data entry. It's all about managing and paying obligations to suppliers. Honestly, I like to think of AP as the company's ultimate promise keeper. You're making sure vendors get paid correctly and right on time. If you can frame it exactly like that in your interview, bam, you instantly elevate yourself from just a data processor to a true strategic financial operator.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover AP basics and core documents, matching and key controls, errors and advanced scenarios, ERP systems and SAP, AP challenges and KPIs, and finally, acing the interview. Let's kick things off with Section 1, AP basics and core documents. So right here is the absolute backbone of AP. It's a step-by-step journey. It all starts with a purchase request, which then turns into a purchase order. Next up is the goods receipt when the item actually arrives, followed by the invoice itself. From there, we hit verification and that all-important three-way match, moving straight into approval, the payment run, and finally, reconciliation. Basically, it perfectly tracks how cash safely and securely moves out of a business. And trust me, interviewers want to see that you get this entire life cycle, not just isolated chunks of it.
Now, a really critical distinction in this journey is knowing the difference between the two main types of documents you'll handle. On one hand, you've got purchase orders, or POs. These are official contracts issued to a supplier for ordered goods. But on the other hand, you have non-PO invoices. These are for your routine expenses, think office rent or electricity bills, stuff that just doesn't require a formal, pre-approved order. Knowing when a PO is actually necessary is a fundamental check in literally any AP department.
Moving right along to Section 2, matching and key controls. Okay, mark my words, you will absolutely be asked this question in an interview. What exactly is a three-way match and why is it so critical before authorizing a payment? It sounds super simple, but you've got to deliver a crisp, confident answer here. So, the three-way match is essentially this vital comparison between three distinct documents. You're verifying that what you officially ordered on the PO perfectly matches what you physically received on the goods receipt, and that all of that exactly matches what the supplier is billing you for on the invoice. Only when those three things perfectly align does the payment actually get the green light. The real trick here is how you present this concept. You need to frame this control to your interviewer as the company's ultimate shield. It's literally the primary defense against duplicate payments, those costly quantity discrepancies, and outright vendor fraud. Saying it like this shows you really understand that AP is a gatekeeper protecting the firm's bottom line. All right, on to Section 3, errors and advanced scenarios. Now, here's a super common situational question you should definitely be ready for. Let's say an angry vendor calls you complaining about a delayed payment. Where do you logically begin your investigation? To nail this answer, you need to explain your systematic approach. First, you check the invoice status. Then, verify if it's missing any necessary approvals. Next, you look to see if there's a temporary hold or a payment block, maybe due to a mismatch or some missing info. Finally, you confirm the scheduled payment run date and check the overall vendor balance. Boom. This proves you have a highly methodical, process-driven approach to solving problems. Which brings us right to the payment run itself. Think of payment runs as the highly anticipated payday moments for vendors. It's that automated process of selecting and paying all those carefully approved invoices, and it really defines the rhythm of the company's cash flow. Understanding payment terms, like net 30 or net 60, is totally vital here, because those terms dictate exactly when these runs happen. Let's shift gears to Section 4, ERP systems and SAP. Especially for a specialized firm like Accenture, you absolutely have to contextualize these basics within leading ERP systems. So let's talk about the GR/IR, or Goods Receipt/Invoice Receipt Clearing Account. This is essential SAP knowledge. It's basically a temporary account used to track when goods have arrived, but the supplier hasn't billed you yet, or conversely, when the bill arrives before the goods. Interviewers absolutely love asking about this because tracking temporary liabilities accurately is a massive part of month-end closing. Following right on the heels of that GR/IR account, you need to be prepared to confidently walk your interviewer through recurring journal entries. Like, if the goods arrive but the bill hasn't been paid by month end, you have to book an accrual. You debit the relevant expense account and credit the accrued liability account. Explain that this ensures expenses are recorded in the correct accounting period, which is really the cornerstone of accurate financial reporting. Next up, Section 5, AP Challenges and KPIs. Look, interviewers love metrics. It's just a fact. So be ready to discuss tracking things like invoice processing time to measure speed. You'll also want to mention minimizing the dreaded duplicate payment rate, since that's a hugely costly error. Then there's maximizing PO compliance rate to ensure folks are following purchasing rules, and of course, monitoring the on-time payment rate to keep vendor relationships healthy. Highlighting these specific KPIs proves a much larger point to your interviewer. It shows them you get that accounts payable is really about continuous operational efficiency and strategic vendor management. It proves you see the forest, not just the trees, right? You're actively measuring how healthy the process is, always looking for ways to cut costs and save time. And finally, Section 6, Acing the Interview. We all know technical skills get you in the door, but behavioral skills, that's what actually gets you the job. Remember to use the STAR method, situation, task, action, result, to structure stories about your past experiences. Really highlight your ability to manage difficult stakeholders and navigate ambiguity. Plus, a firm like Accenture is deeply committed to sustainability goals, so show how you align with that. Talk about championing modern digital transformations, like moving a company toward paperless e-invoicing. Okay, this leads us to the inevitable closing question you absolutely have to nail. Why are you specifically drawn to a career in accounts payable? Pro tip, whatever you do, please don't just say, because I like numbers. Instead, you want to enthusiastically express that AP is the literal lifeblood of the company. It sits right at the heart of financial operations. It's about securing deep vendor trust, enforcing strict financial controls to prevent fraud, and optimizing global cash flow. Frame it as this dynamic, high-impact career path where your daily actions directly protect and serve the organization's greater strategic goals. If you can master the structural flow of AP, understand key SAP concepts like the GR/IR, and confidently articulate your value using the STAR method, you are going to do incredibly well. But as you step into that interview, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. How will emerging technologies like AI eventually change the very processes we just discussed today? Master this explainer to confidently navigate your next interview. And remember, subscribe to Crack Your Interview for more AP insights.